Hey, good morning, folks, and welcome to Swing Trading Today. This is Bob Desmond, and it is December the 4th, 5:02 in the a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's begin with the pre-market futures. Actually, no, let's not begin with the pre-market futures. Let's begin with my audio. Uh, I am working off of my webcam mic right now. I've been doing so for the past couple of days unwittingly, but apparently on my microphone, I don't know if you can see that, my micro USB cord broke. I need to buy a new one today, and that'll hopefully fix the microphone here. So, excuse me. So my quality is dramatically better for audio. So again, my apologies, and we'll get through this. I am still working on one monitor for the live stream, so I'll be toggling back and forth to see messages vis-a-vis my phone and changing up the screens a bit. I can see I am live. No comments yet. That's me on the camera. All right. So what we're going to do this morning is first go through, we'll switch it up. Let's go through the economic data that's coming through this morning. Then we'll go to, I'm going to skip the news. There's not much going on today. No major headlines that can move the market, but I do want to talk about the British elections. They matter. And then we'll segue over into the pre-market activity, and then we'll leave off with members' stock chart requests. That's where our gold members submit symbols for me to review on video. So let's get to it. Economic data up first. All right, so today is really the kickoff of the employment numbers for the week. The real pimp mac daddy of them all, as I like to call it, is the federal numbers, which come out on Friday, and those are the non-farm payrolls. But today we get the ADP, which is the private sector view of the job market. They don't correlate all that much. The ADP numbers and the government numbers, no shock there. Later on this morning, we have the ISM non-manufacturing index. On Monday, we had the manufacturing index, which came out. Again, another month where the manufacturing index, as seen here on Monday, I'm going back a bit, was in contraction. Any number below 50 is a signal of contraction. So the U.S. manufacturing sector remains in recession. There's no arguing it. Now today, this is what could really gyrate the markets. If we see a number at or below 50 on the ISM non-manufacturing numbers, that is a tell. That is a major tell. Now, something tells me that we're going to get some positive data, because yesterday the president came out and said, or it was the day before, one of the two, came out and said that there wouldn't be a deal with China until after the elections. He must be pretty darn confident that either A, the Federal Reserve has got his back through the elections, and or B, economic data is going to come out stronger than expected. I mean, Monday's manufacturing data certainly did not support his decision to really throw down the gauntlet with China. Not that I disagree with him. I think he's right. So those are the two bits of economic data coming out today that could be market movers. So let's get to the news of the day. It's not really news in terms of interest to the United States, but in terms of interest to the EU, the United Kingdom. This is off of Wikipedia. 2019 United Kingdom general election. This is important, folks. Good morning, Patrick. UGAZ's down. We'll take a look at it, Patrick. Good morning, RL. Dylan. Will gold drop below 1570 today and NASDAQ keep rising? It may. I'll be going over gold. We'll take a look at it in a moment in the pre-market. We had a blowout day yesterday. The setup is fairly strong for gold. So I'll give you my short-term thoughts. Yesterday on Market Wrap with members, I did a longer multi-day, multi-week view of the expectations of the market. I sent that out last night. I will post it in the members area later on. Dylan, I'm not sure if you're a member or not, but that will be in the members area, and you should have received it last night. So that's our longer term view of the market and the positions that we put on yesterday. But I will be going over gold and NASDAQ in the pre-markets in a moment. So getting back to these elections, they matter because if a Tory victory is imminent, you can expect, unless of course, and we've seen it before, the Remainers in Britain pull some sort of stunt causing a delay yet again. Remember, this Brexit vote occurred about 3 years ago, and they're still in the EU. They can't get out. It's like the monetary roach motel, as Peter Schiff would call it. You check in, but you can't check out of the EU. So today is a major day, important day, in that, where is it? Here it is. Deadline to register for proxy at 5 p.m. So I guess the deadline is today to vote in that general election. And then the general election will be on the 12th with the results announced on the 13th. So these are all major events that are coming up here because it's not simply the British election that really counts. It's the fracturing potentially of the European Union. It's major stuff. So if we see a probable Tory victory, I would expect to see a rally in gold, perhaps a rally in the dollar as a safe haven trade as the euro pulls back. So we'll see. But I think that gold will do well in that environment. If you see a loss by the Tories to the Remainers, well, then you might see some weakness in gold, weakness in the dollar, and a rally in the euro because the pressure will be off of any fracturing of the EU. So these are the things that are coming up in the next several days that could certainly influence our trade. Let's go to the pre-market activity, and then we'll go into members' stock chart request and a couple of symbols that we're watching as potential long trades. All right, we're going to kick things off with bonds. This is the 10-year Treasury bond note futures, and we are down slightly. We were higher, but we have given up a lot of those gains with a bearish reversal bar. Let me adjust my monitor. Okay, a bearish reversal bar earlier today that looks like it should have come on some news, that type of price action. I haven't seen any yet that would justify that. We're trying to rally back because we did close this last 4-hour bar down below support. And now we are trying to rally back. Will we close above this current resistance level? Don't know. We'll know by 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when this bar will close. Let's move on to the US dollar. Now, let me check comments here. Hey, Sam. Bloomberg breaking, the U.S. and China moving closer to agreeing on the amount of tariffs that would be rolled back in a phase 1 trade deal despite tensions over Hong Kong. and zing zing. All right. So it just goes back to really don't pay attention to the headlines too much. Watch what they do. So interesting. Thanks for that, Sam. And that could be why we're seeing some weakness in the bond market. All right. Thanks, Sam. Okay, so the US dollar is still weak. We're up slightly. Is this a dead cat bounce? I hope so, because that will bode well for gold. But honestly, were I a dollar long, I would be very concerned about the price action of the US dollar. And the reason is that generally the dollar has traded up on negative trade news. And we had a lot of bad trade news these past couple of days. So, and not just with China, with the EU as well. So, what happened with the dollar? It sold off. Now we are in a triangle formation. Do we break out or do we break down? We don't know. The markets will tell us. But as it stands right now, using a 4-hour chart, very short term, the path of least resistance is to the downside. We went over the daily chart on Market Wrap yesterday, members. I discussed the daily chart for a longer term view of what we expect out of the US dollar. Yesterday, it flashed a doji formation on the day. So please go check that out. With the dollar, after reviewing the dollar, we want to check out gold. All right, so gold had a beautiful day yesterday. We sold covered calls on our NUGT trade yesterday, and we booked those profits, 28% profit on the covered call trade, and we'll probably get a pullback this morning. I was hoping for a continuation move higher in the morning. This may be the pause that refreshes, a pullback, and then a rally back. We'll see. Gold had a very strong day yesterday. We did hit resistance. 1470. Do we break that level? I doubt it. That was a question, I believe, by Chris. Let me make sure. Dylan, I'm sorry. Dylan. I doubt it, Dylan. If we get a big trade deal announcement, perhaps. But you probably need to see a major geopolitical event to occur for that to happen. My guess is that in all probability that in the coming day and days, you'll see a continuation move higher on gold. This is probably just a pause that refreshes. I mean, yesterday we were up $15 on the day. So it's logical that we pull back. We did hit resistance and we're pulling back now. So I would watch the headlines. I mean, Sam did a great job of providing some Bloomberg news. And that could be the proximate reason why we're seeing some weakness this morning. We were higher overnight versus yesterday. What was the high overnight? About $14.90 the ounce. So let's check out silver. Silver broke out yesterday. We are long of silver, and again, we spiked up higher overnight, only to get rejected. And I believe those tariffs on China, if they don't have a phase 1 trade deal, they go into effect on the 15th. So that's another number to watch, another date to watch. Crude. Continues to pick up steam here. What was resistance in green and in red should now act as support. You can see that we broke out here yesterday, pulled back overnight, did a retest of support on spot crude, continuation move higher this morning. We'll have resistance up at 57 spot 22 on light sweet crude. So crude looking okay in the pre-market. Nat gas, this is for Patrick. Patrick, we saw a breakout above this secondary downtrend line yesterday. We're pulling back, doing a retest this morning. We have retested, I should say, this last 4-hour bar. And we are beginning to press higher here. We are above the upper band of resistance on a 4-hour basis. We have higher lows in RSI. Daily chart. Again, here's your breakout yesterday above this secondary downtrend line and dotted or dashed line. Today, we're pulling back and doing a retest. The safe play here would be to see that we close out the day above this current support level. And the spot price at that level is about 2.39 on nat gas. And ideally, we close green here and press above yesterday's highs. That'll set the stage for a rally up to the primary upper band of resistance at around 2.57 on nat gas. We'll take a look at UGAZ on stock charts for you in a moment. Not stock charts. Trend Spider. Sorry, it's a bit early. We haven't taken a look at Bitcoin. Let's take a look at it. All right, so last I went over Bitcoin was on Sunday night. And I was looking for a retest of 7,000, high 6,000. And we had rallied, pulled back, and I warned yesterday, watch for a break below this lower band of support in yellow. And at current, we are breaking down below it. So I think that there is a good possibility that we see a continuation move lower on Bitcoin. There doesn't appear much in terms of bad news that really gets Bitcoin off the bench and performing well. I don't know what it's going to take. It's probably going to take a real serious clamp down on capital controls out of wherever, the United States, China, wherever, for Bitcoin to really take off. Bank bail-ins, meaning the seizure of deposits, would certainly do the trick to get Bitcoin rallying, because then it would be a perceived safe haven play. But at current, not much is making it move. So I would expect to see lower lows here on Bitcoin. When am I wrong about that? When we rally up and through this resistance level here at 73.86 per coin, and we close there. Now, one observation that is pretty good is that we are putting in a higher low here, possibly. One could argue that we have broken that low. We'll put our support level here. Let's see whether or not this holds. We'll revisit it tomorrow, or maybe later in the day with members on Market Wrap. Technically, I should have made that line red. We're running out of time here, so I'll do it later. All right, let's see whether or not we hook up here on RSI and break out, because that may be a clue that we get a breakout on price. We could have an indicator leading price performance. It's happened many, many times before. It's not pie in the sky stuff. It happens. Let's take a look at the stock market futures. We'll begin with the Russell. We did do some buying yesterday in the biotech sector. We are rallying right now up and into resistance. We're up just shy of a half percentage point on the session. And we're looking for a breakout here above this upper band of resistance at around 1613 on the Russell 2000. The trend is still up here, folks. So for those that were inquiring yesterday, did we get short of the market, or were we looking to short the market? We're always looking to short the market. But no, we did not short the market yesterday. And keep in mind, the reason why we kind of had the luxury of not shorting the market is because we're already hedged using the gold miners and silver, so that if the markets sell off, we already have a position, gold miners and silver, which should do well. And we could look to short the market when the market confirms a downtrend. We don't have a confirmation downtrend yet. The S&P 500, we're up about 4% on the day. This was yesterday. This is today. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. Okay, you can see that we had a nice reversal bar earlier in the day. Is this a dead cat bounce? Quite possibly. Would a trade deal salvage the market? Probably. Do we get a sell on the news event? If we get a phase 1 trade deal, good chance. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. I should have had this ready. I'm sorry. I thought I had it up here. NASDAQ. Here we go. This is the NASDAQ 100. Again, 4-hour chart. Dead cat bounce? Maybe. We'll know if it is once we break, or if we break, this support level in red. Let me check comments here. You're welcome, Dylan. You're very welcome. Thanks for joining in this early. Yeah, Sam, I know it. It's all a game, Sam, with these trade talks. It's all manipulation. Okay. All right. Let's continue onward here and close out this morning. I want to take a look at the British pound. Let's pull back here. Let's go with a weekly view. British pound is behaving very, very strongly. And we've broken out on a weekly basis. It's a very nice chart of the British pound. A bit overbought here, like we were here, but still a very pretty chart. Let's check out the euro versus the US dollar. Euro continues to firm up here. Obviously no breakout yet. And I would put into question the ability of the euro to rally if the Tories win, the Brexiters or the leavers, whatever they call them over in Great Britain, if they decide to, if they win and decide to leave the EU. I think Boris Johnson's made it perfectly clear that's what he's going to want to do. So I don't know how sustainable a euro rally is in that event, but at current, as we know it, the euro is firming up here on a weekly basis. This does not bode well for the US dollar. And that's good for our gold mining trade. Let's move on to members stock chart request. Is there anything else I want to go over first? Okay. Let's get to member stock chart request. We have a few minutes left here. Okay. This is for fellow member Patrick, and I have another Patrick that just joined up. Welcome, Patrick. INSG, Insigno Corp. This is a weekly chart. Let's pull back. Let's do a real high-level view here, as we usually do. Monthly view. A beautiful multi-year base here. Really, really nice stuff. Let's throw some overlays up. All right, so we have a monthly overlay up right now. What I want to do is take our drawing tool and what we've done here is created a resistance level, or highlighted a resistance level. Let's move this up a little bit further. And the reason for that is to illustrate where the pivot point of this W formation is. Here is the left side of your W, the pivot point, the center of your W. We're pulling back, right side, and we're building that right side of the base. And for us to want to get long of this position, we want to see a close above 6.86. I think it's going to happen. The reason why you're seeing resistance at current is for two reasons. One, we have resistance at 6.86, right? So that's one. Two, we have resistance marking the upper band of resistance here. So we have an uptrend channel which is formed. We're respecting the lower band, but we're also respecting the upper band of that channel. So what I would do here is I would create an alert on a breakthrough All right, so this is a monthly view. We'll keep this active for the next 10 days. Triggered twice. So really, I don't care what this company does. Unless I see a better setup on a weekly or daily chart, I don't want to touch the stock. I think it's a pretty chart on a monthly basis. I think it'll probably go higher. But at current, we're at resistance and the risk reward is simply not on our side. Now, if for whatever reason we pull back to this lower band of support, then I would set my alert up, touch, bounce. I don't care if we break through. If we break through, we don't care, right? INSG. Patrick, you're a gold member, so you should have this ability at current to do what I'm doing right now on TrendSpider. But I will paste the link for this chart in the text box. We'll keep this live for 10 days. Triggered twice. And let's share this. So this is the very, very high level view of INSG. Now let's do a deeper dive. Again, the weekly chart really illustrates what I just discussed, is that we have resistance above, as noted by our alert. Another alert could be set down here. Touch, bounce. We'll keep some sensitivity here. I want to know at the end of the day. And this is a possible long trade. I really like the monthly setup here, the longer term prospects of getting long. We'll keep this active for the next few days. So we have three alerts set at current daily chart. You could argue that you could use this support level here at let's call it 5.98 to $6 per share as a support level. I would be okay with that, but we're very extended on a daily basis, rallying up into the third standard deviation Bollinger Band on the 2nd, and we pulled back doji formation yesterday, very close to one, not exact, but very, very close. It's definitely a sign of indecision. So $6 per share could be an interesting support level to open or add to a position. But again, at current, absent a pullback to the support level or to one of our alert levels, I wouldn't buy these shares until we closed above this monthly support level above. So that would be the game plan. Let's share this chart as well. Okay. Let's take a look at UGAZ for Patrick. I have two Patricks. My other Patrick. Let's UGAZ does not appear good on monthly basis for, I should say, on TrendSpider. It's because it's a leveraged ETF and a ton of volatility. All right. All right. So my weekly take on UGAZ is that we are in a descending wedge formation. Here's your upper band of that descending wedge. Here's your lower band here. We were higher on the week. We have pulled back off of those highs. We already have an alert set here for a rally above that upper band of resistance. We have broken down on RSI. We discussed the weekly chart last week on a break below support. I'm not seeing a reason to buy these shares on a weekly basis. Drilling down to a daily chart. Yesterday's price action was good, but not great. Because and as a matter of fact, I think we went over the 30-minute chart yesterday, Patrick. And I was concerned about a sell-off intraday on nat gas, which I believe, well, actually definitely did happen. It's shown on the chart here. We got that sell-off. Hopefully you book profits. Did you book profits on that, Patrick? You have Will Yeah, you did. Good for you. Congrats. All right, so me personally, I don't like this price action. Because it looks like these gap highs are short squeezes. This is not real serious buying. I don't like the fact that the energy sector closed down below daily support yesterday. Oil did fight back a bit and closed back above an upper band of resistance. I'm not in love with the energy stocks here. I would avoid this at current. Let's go to that 30-minute chart. Yeah, here's the resistance level we were talking about yesterday. And we saw a sell-off. I don't see any reason at all to go buying these shares until such time going back to, I'm not going to drill down here again. I don't know why this does this. I'm going to bring this up to the team over at TrendSpider. I have to keep drilling down here until we get a breakout above this upper band of resistance, and ideally a close back above 1440 before you get aggressively long. But I would settle for a breakout above this upper band of resistance or a pullback to this lower band of support. But that lower band of support is significantly lower than where we are at current. What else are we looking at here as a potential trade? Cure. We were long. We completely booked profits way too soon. We did take advantage of the biotech stocks yesterday. We did get back long of the biotech stocks. I discussed that trade with members yesterday. We saw an outside reversal trade on the position that we opened up. I should say not an outside reversal day. It was actually an inside day. However, it was a bullish key reversal day, a follow-through day. Hopefully a follow-through day today. Healthcare, a down day yesterday. We rallied off the lows. Still, I'm not overly excited about this chart, despite the fact that we closed off the lows of the day. The entire stock market closed off the lows of the day. Does that mean this selling is done? No. Let's check out the news really quick on Zero Hedge. Let's see if that news hit. Futures surged. Look at you, Sam, on the money. Futures surge after Bloomberg quotes unnamed sources saying, this is the administration out there tweaking the market again. This will probably be all about nothing. I think this is the president. This is a tweet out of I believe one of the Chinese delegation. I predict that there is a high probability that President Trump or a senior official will openly say in a few hours that China-U.S. trade talks have made big progress. That means nothing. That means salvage the market, because the Chinese stock market took it on the chin yesterday. And we were talking about that over the weekend. I spoke about it again last night on Market Wrap. Looking at the YANG, we'll go over that chart in a moment. That's probably getting decimated this morning. And we'll take a look at that as a possible long trade today. All right. Big progress in order to pump up the U.S. stock markets. All right. So I don't know who this person is, to be honest with you. Let's bring them up. Oh, it's just some kid. The Global Times of China. Yeah, he's at the Global Times of China. Okay, so this is probably out of the Chinese communists, because they'll tell him what to say over there. God forbid he has free thought. All right, so it looks like they're goosing the market. Let's take a look at YANG, and we'll leave off with this. All right, so YANG, we've been speaking a lot about lately. We have traded it in the past. It's treated as well. You can see I had an alert here that was triggered. Let's change this. In fact, let's delete it. And technically, what we did yesterday is we hit a prior lower band of support. That prior lower band of support is now acting as resistance. And what we're looking for here is a pullback and a retest. We'll keep this real simple. I want to see, I don't care if we break through. If we break through, we're not interested in it anymore. On a weekly basis, I want to see whether or not we hit weekly support, and we probably will today. Okay. All right, so our day is set here. Let's drill down to a daily chart. This is yesterday's price action. Again, here is that upper band of resistance. So technically, you'd expect a continuation pullback. I think we're pulling back to the support level here. We'll look to get long of YANG. Possibly as soon as today. So members, expect an alert. Patrick, Street has a sell on YANG. There shouldn't be coverage for YANG. Is there really an analyst out there saying sell YANG? I see you have an R at the end of YANG. Maybe that's a typo. Let's take a quick look at the futures while I see if Patrick wants to type back. Let's go to the S&Ps. Not much change here. So we'll see. I would not go, in terms of strategy, I would not go chasing this market up higher today. It's simply rallying on an oversold condition. We did rally off the lows of the day yesterday. Optimism going into today. It's obvious that we're being manipulated higher with more tweets, more headline news from unnamed sources. We've been here before. We've seen this act before. We've been to the puppet show. We've seen the strings now. Do we fall for it? No, we're not falling for it. Wait until that final hour of trade, and definitely wait until that first hour of trade. Don't get lured into the amateur money, getting sucked into this market. And we'll see how we close out the day. That'll give us a better indication of how we want to position ourselves. And with that, I want to say everybody have a profitable trading day. Hit that like button if you would. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for joining. Be well.